Algorators, welcome back to Celebrity Court. Brenda O, good evening. SL, hello. Protecting My Peace 44, hello from the DMV. I'm here in the DMV. Essa Stone, happy Tuesday. Lathea Robinson Smith, welcome back. Jason, yes, let's go. Danielle Cameron, glad you made it. Venetia Phillips, welcome back. Kenny Black, welcome back. Daniel Cameron says, hey, Jason. All right, everybody, tonight, we're not watching fame fall. We're watching it being cross-examined. We're going to have 4 celebrities, 4 legal battles, 1 cold reality. In this courtroom, status don't save you, but receipts do. Whether it's a grape charge in London, a bounce casino check, a rap beef gone bankrupt, or a real housewife losing her hair spa and her clout, this isn't tabloid chatter. Absolutely not. This is a masterclass in how money, power, and reputation collapse under the weight of law. All right, before we get started, I'm going to invite, we have a full house tonight, our legal beagles. First up, Shaitan Fiery Turner. Welcome back to Celebrity Court Counselor. Joining her, we have Jason Arthur Weiss, Sean Humorous Carter, Ashley Stars Carter, and Brian Briefcase Ross. Don't forget to drop those emojis. Counselors, all welcome back to Celebrity Court. Oh, Lord, look at that hat. All right, Ashley Carter has a promotion that she would like to talk about. Ashley, take it away.
Yes. So, Algorators, if you visit me at The Entertainment...
Can we bring her to the man? There we go. Thank you.
Algorators, if you visit me at theentertainmentesq.com, you can get $1,000 off your trademark filing or your $500 discount off of a LC formation in any state between now and the end of next month. So,
all right, repeat that one more time.
So visit me at theentertainmentesq.com and use, when emailing me there, the code Celebrity Court, so that I know that you were watching me on Celebrity Court, and I can give you your special discount of $1,000 off your trademark or $500 off your LLC.
All right, everybody, you heard it first right here on Celebrity Court, and only on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion can you get $1,000 off on your trademark. And Bailiff, can you bring me to the front stage? $1,000 off of your trademark and $500 off the creation of your LLC by our lovely Ashley Star Carter. All right. Any other announcements? Okay, Jason has a new dog, I see.
Yep, this is Penny. She's making her TV debut right here. So, hello, Penny. And I can't wait to get into our stories tonight.
All right, everybody. All the algoritms, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, don't forget to hit the share button and invite some friends over to listen to our panel of experts talk about the law on the back of all of these horribly not law-abiding celebrities. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love it when you drop down in that chat. Court is officially in session. All right, first up, from top boy to top of UK's criminal docket, is fame a shield or a target? We're talking about Michael Ward, who's been accused of rape and assault in the UK. Ward has been formally charged with multiple sexual offenses by the UK's Crown Prosecution Service. The alleged incident occurred January 2023. The accuser is unnamed, and the stakes are everything for this young man. Now, the lesson in the law here is that in the UK, the principle of sub judice bans pretrial media commentary to protect due process. I find this very interesting, and I can't wait to hear what our legal beagles think. But with global social media, can any case stay neutral? Let's go to you, Attorney Carter. Tell me, what exactly is this whole principle of sub judice bans? Is it like, for instance, with the Diddy trial, there would not have been the press in the UK covering all of that other stuff that he was going through and going on? Is that what that means?
Oh, this Attorney Carter? Which one?
think he's talking about you.
Yes, Sean Carter, yes.
All right. Well, there are two of us, my little sister there. Now, basically, in a sense, in America, we kind of have a similar rule. You're not supposed to give out any information that might prejudice the jury and the public about a case. That's what the prosecution is not supposed to do, etc. But we tend to cheat on that a lot. And also, we don't restrict our media to this. So everybody in the media can make up their stuff. And of course, we don't have anything to say about TikTok and YouTube, etc., or us. Thankfully, we wouldn't have the show. All right. In Britain, they're going to play this by the book. Only the jury is really going to hear what's happened when it's time to happen. Remember, we don't even know about the allegation here. What happened, what day it was, where it was, what the allegations are. All we know is that he's been charged with these crimes, and there's a woman, a victim. That's all we know.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Attorney Turner, Shaitan, can Ward's legal team explore consent without re-victimizing the accuser?
That's an interesting question. The victimization issue is more of a kind of psychological mental health issue, but the consent issue is core to the legal defense, and so they have to, right? One of the defenses against assault is that it was desired touching and wasn't undesired or unwelcome, and so his team is going to have to do it. It's really delicate. I think maybe Attorney Ross has some experience with how to do that given his practice, but they have to.
Okay, got it. Attorney Ross, let me ask you, because I think one of the things that I read in the UK is the reason why they don't allow press in is so that they don't have to deal with like this whole cancel culture by the public opinion. So how does cancel culture impact the presumption of innocence when it's done in the UK?
Well, you have to start with the fact that our legal system came from the English system of common law. So over there, they're still operating under that to an extent. And they believe that you have to be quiet. Their press is salacious over there. So they kind of gag you out. You have to be quiet. You can't get involved too much. But what he can do is he's going to be allowed to investigate by having a conversation with her through a weird little process over there. He's going to find out what exactly her position is. Like, unlike Diddy in federal court, where you don't get any depositions of victims, he'll be able to talk to her a little bit and find out what's going on. It's a little better than over here.
Okay, let's go to you really quickly, Jason. Jason, can you tell me, because I read somewhere in this case that they may have had consensual relations before this incident. Does that make a difference in the prosecutor's defense and how he's building this case out, or could build this case out? And if you were his attorney, how would you be building this case right now?
So if I was his attorney, I would say that they had an ongoing relationship. There was consent at the beginning. There was consent during the entire process. And that, she did not say there was no consent at some point in time. However, if I'm the prosecution, what I'm saying is that just because you consent to something once, that's not an open invitation so that you can go ahead and you have consent to do whatever it is, any point in time. So, look, you can have one consensual contact with somebody, and then you can go ahead and try to make a move and try to do the same thing over again. And she could say, no, I'm not interested. I didn't enjoy myself. I'm not in the mood. I don't like you. Get the hell away from me. Whatever the reason is, all she has to do is say no, and that's it. Consent's withdrawn.
Let's go to you, Ashley, because you always have an interesting take to me as a woman when it comes to these topics. Do you think in this particular case, are we finally confronting the gray areas as it relates to fame, taking advantage, using their fame for sex? And does that replace consent, or is this just a case of picking sides?
I mean, fame is always going to play a part. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the UK, but they just seem like they want to prosecute everybody. They're prosecuting my poor Chris Brown over there for his bottle. So, I'm Team Breezy. I'm going to defend him. Even when he's wrong, I'm going to defend him. But it just seems like the UK just recently, I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence that all this stuff has happened in the same time frame, but they seem to be doing a lot of prosecutions. And you notice whether it be Chris Brown or this guy, they're entertainers. So I think that's what kind of leads to the question you just asked. Like, how much is this because they're famous? Like,
Right.
if they're famous, would they really care? I always just find that interesting. Even with Diddy being one of the few Black billionaires, I just feel like if this was a non-entertainer who ultimately was found guilty of hiring some male prostitutes to have sex with his girlfriends, like, it just wouldn't get very far. I definitely think your Hollywood status, whether you're here or in the UK, is always going to play a part. I also think it's interesting what you just said about, how they're going to gag. Like, they're going to, like, y'all not gagging us. We talking over here on Celebrity Court. Last time I said YouTube was global. So I know they think that they are gagging, like, there's no media commentary, but like, there's way too much on YouTube and TikTok. So I think that's a fantasy at this point.
All right, Brian, let me ask you really quickly, because you always usually give us some good thought process here. What are your thoughts on this young lady and her charges, and they having previous relations allegedly?
I mean, if he says they had previous relations and she says they didn't, it's going to boil down.
No. I think they both agree that they had previous relations. I just think this time there was not, according to her, there wasn't consent.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, if he's saying that we were going one way and she's saying they went another, right? It's still, that will always boil down to a jury question. It will always boil down to putting one person on the stand in front of a jury, another person on the stand in front of another jury, and letting a jury look. And how does a jury figure that out? They look at your eyes. They look and see if you're sweating. They look at your body movements. Now, he doesn't have to testify, right? His defense will be able to try and pick her apart, just like we saw, obviously, in the most famous trial this year, Diddy. But at the end of the day, like, it's going to boil down to he said, she said, unless there's some text messages, some videos, and things like that can come in. So this is a long way from over. What I always question, though, and it's scary to do it, is why now? Right? It wasn't the next day or the week after.
Right.
My man made a couple of dollars, got famous. I'm sorry, Shaitan. And all of a sudden, she's coming out with the woo. And I'm not saying she's not right. She has a right to wait as long as she wants to. She has a right to say it whenever she wants. But the timing of these things, if my man was a complete flop working at a pawn shop, I'm sure the same story would come out. I don't know. So I like to always ask the question about the timeline. Why did you wait? Why did you wait so long? I don't want to hear why I had to talk to my mom. It took you 2 years to talk to your mom. So I'm always trying to figure out what happened with that.
Attorney Turner, it seems like you can't wait to jump in dag on Attorney Ross's grill right now. What you got to say about that?
He brought me into it. But I will say this. Don't hate on her if she brought it up because he's famous. And here's why. That doesn't discount her story. She might be tired of seeing him smiling and grinning on TV and in ads all the time. And that's a trigger for her that he did this to her, right? So the fame and the money might be related, but that doesn't mean it's incredible. I will say, and I've said this, I think every time we've discussed one of these types of cases, the lesson for the male algorators is don't proceed unless there is enthusiastic consent. Don't read into it. Don't infer. Don't say, well, she wanted me last week, so I'm going to sneak into her apartment and give her a little something. Enthusiastic consent is what you're looking for, because otherwise you end up in these unfortunate things. I mean, he got dropped by his agency. So it's not as if they're not.
His movie's coming out in 2 weeks.
Right.
This is happening right before his movie comes out in 2 weeks. So, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but
say it.
She really should have waited until after the box office hit. Go after more money. I'm not trying to be funny, because hitting him before the movie launches is just going to tank him. He's a new actor. He's not super rich. He's not super famous. He's on a trajectory to be. This box office hit would have made him extremely famous and have more money for him to come after him. But you ruining his ability to make money is ruining your ability to make money for the wrong that he did to you. Really quickly, Attorney Sean Carter, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm torn what to think because all I'm going by is Pootie Tang 2487 on Twitter. You know, I don't even know they had a previous relationship because we don't know who this woman is. All right, the Crown won't tell us, and so I really don't know. By the way, this happened allegedly in January 2023. We don't know when she went to the prosecutors. How long it took them to investigate? It might have been 6 months ago before the movie was coming out, right? And so, you know, I mean, we're really in a gray area. And I have to admit, though, the Brits might have some sense here. Now, what Attorney Ashley Carter's right, it's not going to stop us from talking about it, making up stuff, right? It's not going to stop the whole internet. And so people in the UK are going to get it. But I think what they try to do really well is say, hey, look, the only people who need to know what happened are those 12 people or however many people in England sit on that jury box. And we don't want them to get, you know, infected with all this crazy rumor and salacious. And we thought this happened and they blew up Kid Cudi's car. Let it come out in trial.
All right, really quickly, let's look what Danielle Cameron said. Hell, us women change our minds quicker than Diddy goes through a bottle of baby oil.
And that's fast.
All right. Okay, let's go to the algorithms really quickly. We're going to try something different. We're going to add an audience poll to tonight's show. An audience poll. Look down in your chat. The question here is, should press coverage be gagged until trial verdicts are in? No. Hit yes for protect due process. Hit no, we have a right to know, or hit depends who it is. Look down into your chat for the poll. Let me ask the question one more time. Should press coverage algoritms be gagged until trial verdicts are in?
But
Vote
Your Honor,
yes.
we wouldn't have a show.
Yes, if to protect due process. Vote no if we have a right to know, or vote depends on who it is. I'm sorry, who's talking?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just laughing. We wouldn't have a show if the press coverage has to be gagged till the trial verdicts are in. What will we do?
I know.
Well, it depends who it is. If it's Diddy, you could do all you want. If it's this guy in the UK, you can't. You know. So.
All right, let's keep it moving. Next up, Marcus Morris Sr. has a casino check scandal. He's no rookie to the league, but he is a rookie to the law. Arrested in Florida for 2 bounced checks, one in the amount of $115,000, and the other for $150,000 to casinos in Nevada. Now facing extradition, the case raises one question: is this fraud, or is this a financial hiccup turned felony because he's famous? Now, the lesson in the law is bouncing a check isn't automatically criminal. Prosecutors need to prove intent to defraud. If he thought he had the money, it's a civil issue. Let's go to you, Attorney Jason Weiss, because you taught me something new in the chambers, which was if you write a check to someone and you tell them to hold it until Friday, and they actually deposited before Friday, you're still held liable for the check you wrote. Talk to us about that to the algorithms.
So that's exactly on point. If I hand you a check today and it's dated today, and I tell you, do me a favor, hang on to it until Friday and don't deposit it until Friday, and you say, sure, no problem. And then you decide tomorrow morning, you wake up and you're like, I'm going to go ahead and deposit that check, and it bounces, I'm still in trouble because I knew the money wasn't in there. And now it is different.
Is that intent to fraud, though?
Well, the answer is yes, because if I knew there was no money in the account when I wrote that check, and I am trying to cover whatever debt or whatever obligation I have, and I know there's no money in there, that is intent to defraud, and you can be prosecuted for that, and you can absolutely be held civilly liable for it. Here in Florida, it's called a worthless check. It's the amount of the check plus some sort of fees plus kickers, and it winds up being a lot more than the face value of the check. The one thing that we need to keep in mind here is that in Nevada, and this is specific to Nevada, a bad check in failing to repay a casino of more than $1,200 is a felony. And you do not need to be a resident of Nevada. You could be out of state, write that $1,200 check. And again, it all hinges on the intent. If you wrote that check and you knew there was no money to cover it, then you are going to be charged with a felony. And this is very strict, and it's Nevada driven because it has to do with gambling debts, and they treat them as criminal rather as civil. Why? Because what's the number one, or probably the number two profession in Nevada? Number two is gambling. Number one is the oldest profession.
Let's go to you, Attorney Ross, really quickly. Now, there's a difference between writing a check from an account you know there ain't no money in it and not having no money. He's a professional athlete. He's clearly got the money from his contracts, right? He wrote a check from an account. Clearly, he knew there was no money in it, because I can't believe that he doesn't have any money anywhere. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm looking at his contract now, 23-24, he made 17.1 million, 22-23, 6.3 million, 21-22, 15.6 million, 2021, 14.8, and 2019-20, Jay Cardi made $9 million. So he's definitely got, you got the money alone, and you're still doing what? ESPN analyst, so you probably pull another $100,000 a year. Then you're signing jerseys and balls. You got other investment deals. Trust me, he's got the money. He's got the money. Well, I think I want to believe that he made a mistake.
Well,
I want to believe he made a mistake.
According to the Sun Sentinel, which is a newspaper here in Florida, as of 5 p.m. today Eastern time, the district attorney in Nevada said that a wire appeared for the entire amount, and they are going to be dropping the charges.
By the way,
so, and if I'm doing my math right, the wire was above the amount that was owed. So there's probably some sort of either statutory interest or court fees or something else. But he is going to be, it'll be on his record unless someone like Attorney Ross can go ahead and get that taken care of.
I know.
Attorney Ashley Carter, let me ask you this: what's going on here? These are your type of clients. You do these celebrities and these athletes. Why is it that he has to be arrested in the airport, thrown all over social media and all over television before he wires money that he clearly has?
Well, I think it goes back to, in this case, I do agree with you, celebrity privilege. I think sometimes you get to a place where you are so famous that it's almost like you're calling people's bluff to enforce it. So because I was kind of doing the same thing Attorney Ross was doing. I was like, let me look at the history of like how long he's been in the NBA. And then like Attorney Ross said, he has ESPN checks. Like, you've got ESPN checks, you got NBA checks. Unless you gave all your money away to baby mamas and family members, you still have money somewhere. So the fact that he was able to wire it so quickly means he had it the whole time. I just think he wanted to take his time. You'll be surprised. Some celebrities will even sometimes go in a restaurant and just assume they don't even have to pay because they're famous. So like, I just think sometimes there's just like that delusion there. But he obviously they're going to drop it. I think what's interesting about this story, they denied him bond. So that may be why. Now that I'm thinking about it, before Jason said that as of an hour and a half ago, because we're on East Coast time, right? As an hour and a half ago, they received the money. But before they received the money, they denied him bail. So I think that's the answer to that question. They denied him bail. So he's like, let me hurry up and get this money to these people, because otherwise I'm going to be sitting here for the next month or so until my hearing. It's just simply not working.
Sean Carter, when did we start boxing tall ass athletes, NBA players at the airport? Are these, is the casino weaponizing law enforcement to collect this debt? Is it this serious?
Well, here's the thing is, it did not have to come to this. just so we understand how the process works. I think only Brian and maybe Jason do ball like this. But when I go to a casino, I just have money. All right. And whatever $100, $200, whatever I have. But if you have real money, you don't come to the casino with money. So you get a marker. And they said, hey, here's 100,000, here's 150,000. At the time, they said, look, write us a check just in case. But here's the thing is, we don't want that check. We want you to come back and give us our money back before you leave. Okay. He didn't do that. Then they tried to cash a check. The check bounced. One of those checks was written 4 months ago. They didn't call the police immediately. They called him for 4 months. Saying, hey, you got my 100,000? You got my 100,000? And he was like, hey, I'll be back in Vegas eventually. I got you. The season will be over soon. And playoffs will come over. I'll send you your money. And they eventually had to finally go to the police. So I would understand if we say the police were being weaponized if the day after, right, he bounced a check, then they came and got him. This fool was like, you know what? My dad used to say this, as long as I owe you, you'll never be broke. Vegas is broke now. They got, and that's another thing, by the way. Vegas business is slowing down. They've been losing money, so they want their money.
So they hired debt collectors. All right, let's go to the algoriters. Algoriters, let's do the audience poll. Should celebrities get arrested at the airport over bounced checks? Vote yes by saying the law is the law. Vote no, handle it privately, or vote only if it's a pattern.
But there was a bench warrant out. So when he went through TSA, they flagged him, they saw it, and that's why they grabbed him. And he wound up paying $291,750 for the $265,000 debt.
Jeez.
Well, what was that, like a 15,000?
20 something thousand, 26,000, something.
Remember, we talked about T.I. getting arrested at the airport a little while ago. To Jason's point, TSA is the ultimate, criminal catcher. Right. So if you don't want to be arrested, do not try to fly with a warrant because they will get you. And they do it for everybody. So in this case, his celebrity didn't make him special. It just made him more stupid.
And don't rent a car because you got to show your ID there. Anywhere you have to show an ID, you have the opportunity to be picked up. Sorry, Brian Ross. I'm taking away potential clients from you, but if you got a bench warrant out or something out, anywhere where you got to show your driver's license.
So let me ask you this. So there is a system, there is a United States-wide system, whatever state that there's a bench warrant out for you, TSA can access that information.
It's called NCID.
Yeah, it's NCID, but as Attorney Weiss indicated, it's everywhere. So it's in hospitals that use that system. You go visit your child, you have a warrant, you show your driver's license, you might get arrested there. Everywhere that they're scanning it, it goes through the system. So people around here thinking they're slick and going to do stuff that's part of their day because they didn't pay some parking tickets or speeding tickets in a state or something, and now they have a warrant. And the next thing they know, they have to answer for it. But Attorney Carter actually gave me some goals, hashtag goals, because I want to show up somewhere without money and have people give me hundreds of thousands of dollars on faith that I'm going to pay back. Because the thing is, I can relate to him in the spending part, not in the doing it for free. But he was there. He was doing the dice. He was making it rain. He was buying shots. Well, he wasn't buying shots because he was in the casino, but he was having a grand old time, wasn't thinking about paying them back, was just like, let's go. So Attorney
who carries checks? Who carries checks? What professional football?
I was about to ask the same question.
Who's carrying checks in the casino?
Who does that? And Judge, if I can say one thing, for a man of his alleged status, right? This person has a twin brother. He's 6'7". As he was never the face of the NBA, but he was one of a better player in the NBA. For him to go through this, right? You're flying there. Everyone gives their license to TSA. You've done it before. It slides in the chart. The little machine comes back out. They look at it. They say, "Sir, we need to step to the side." They call BSO. They come. They put you in a little secondary inspection. They hold you there for 2-3 hours. Then they finally transport you to BSO downtown Fort Lauderdale, another 5-10 minute ride. You got to sit there and wait. You're calling your lawyer a free phone call. Then you miss arraignment. You go the next day. He was in there for 3 days. Judge Francois, who I know well, kept him there, and he's still in jail until they drop the case. So he's been dealing with this for 4 days. Like, what a nightmare! Like, complete nightmare for a person who should have north of $30 million in cash
somewhere.
somewhere
in
jail.
All right, everybody. Okay, algoritmers, the likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to invite a friend over to watch the show. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love seeing your comments. Next up, who else is in the court of public opinion today? Yep, none other than 50 Cent and Young Buck.
50.
All right, G-Unit was a brotherhood until the courts cashed the last verse. All right, Young Buck owes 50 Cent over $200,000. Now, Young Buck ruled, 50 Cent said that it was not a gift nor an advance, but Young Buck said, hey, it was an advance. With Buck's assets seized, it's another rap chapter ending in court and not in music. The lesson here, and I can't wait for the algorithms to break it down, is in bankruptcy cases, the court looks at the nature of the transaction, gift versus loan, power versus pressure, friendship versus financial control. All right, Shaitan, our resident rapper, should labels be required to clarify advanced terms more transparently? Because in this case, Young Buck is standing 10 toes down that this was an advance for him to make money. To make music.
So I have to tell my brother, the Fly Revolutionary Hustler, that I just got the moniker, the resident rapper on the show. I have street cred now. But here's the thing, just like athletes that we've talked about, these musicians and rappers, they are generally young, inexperienced, and unsophisticated. And so one could argue that the labels take advantage of them when they enter into these arrangements. But a lot of businesses premised upon one person not knowing as much as the other person. The question is, was there coercion, or was there something untoward or unlawful that resulted in them getting into these kinds of arrangements? The interesting thing between him and 50 was that 50 was like, I gave him this money. It was an advance, or it was a loan. It was a personal loan is how 50 characterized it. And Young Buck said, no, it was an advance on my future recordings. And then he interfered with me being able to make money. And oh, by the way, it also has no documents to support what it was. So why are you believing him over me?
Attorney Carter, Sean Carter, what's the difference between an advance and a loan? Because I always thought that an advance actually is a loan.
It is of sorts, but here's where the difference is. And so just so you're clear, you're absolutely right. You sign your record deal. They're going to give you your first album. You don't have any money. They say, hey, you're going to make some money on this. We're going to give you an advance on your royalties. Now, here's where it's different than a loan. If the record doesn't sell, because let's say I sell it, all right, and we didn't sell nothing, you don't have to pay that advance back. That is the advance that they gave you. Now, they can screw you in other ways. Trust me. They basically can say, hey, we got a 5-record deal here. We're not going to put out any more records from you, and you can't go nowhere else, so your career is over. They can get you back, all right? But they can't make you pay the money back because it's an advance on future royalties. What 50 is saying is that's not what happened here. I wrote $250,000 out of my ass pocket. It was, this check said 50 on it. It didn't say G-Unit. I gave them money just as if how I give my kids money. All right. I don't ever expect that back. All right. But the point is, I lent you this money, and therefore you owe it to me differently. This is an advance on future royalties. You owe me the money personally, not G-Unit, me, and I want my money back. Now, it is kind of, you got to admit, this is petty as hell. All right. 50 probably should be thought of as like 13 cents. All right, because you got lots of, I saw his net worth today. It's not what we think it is, but it's millions and millions and millions. $250,000 is in his couch cushion right now. And he was like, nope, I want my money back. Even though you're bankrupt, even though you're struggling to feed your kids, you had to sell off all your rights. I need my $250 back.
Got it.
He really didn't.
All right.
50 is.
Right. I find it very weird with this 50 Cent and how he loans money and then he just really just drags people through the mud. Jason, can you tell me if 50 Cent is flexing muscle or is he enforcing accountability? What do you think this is really about?
You know, I think it's I think it's a balance of two. I think he's just trying to show that, you know, you don't mess with him, and if you're gonna have a deal, you know, he's gonna hold you to it. You know, it's this whole thing, something's not right. I mean, this should have been looked at, this contract. He should have known, you know, the advance. It should have been in big bold letters and underlined and all of that. And if this was a loan, then, you know, he owes that money back. If this was an advance, then that's it. So, I mean, look, he forced him into filing bankruptcy, and you know, and you know,
liquidated his assets.
Yeah. And they're going to go ahead and they're going to see what they can collect. And unfortunately, you know, this guy's going to have a clean start, and you know, he's not going to be able to do anything, and he's going to have problems in the music industry because of 50.
Attorney Ross, let's round this off with you real quick. Tell me, why didn't, when he filed for bankruptcy, why didn't it protect him against this loan if it was a loan?
Well, the bankruptcy judge determines that certain things. Well, first of all, you have to get into a question of whether it is a loan or not. And they actually had probably a hearing on that issue, right? Because there's a bunch of defenses to whether something is a loan or not. But the court had to make a determination that this was, in fact, based upon the face of the contract, if there was one, that this was a loan that had to be repaid. And so obviously the court determined it. Now, what I need to research, though, is there was a discount, right? Because it was originally $250,000, and there was a reduction to $200,000 and some change. So why did the other money disappear? Why didn't he have to pay back all of it? But the Jason,
I don't understand why he's not protected under his bankruptcy. He filed for Chapter 14, right?
No,
well, there's a couple things that one are always outside of bankruptcy, and again, we have to look at it. I'm not saying this is what it was, but one thing that's always outside of bankruptcy is fraud. So if there was something that led to something and say, hey, look, he told me he needed this money to, his grandma had cancer. The truth of the matter is he went and bought some rims for his 1981 Bentley. So, but for that, I wouldn't have loaned him the money. So anytime you have kind of a fraudulent situation, that's never going to get you out of bed. That's never going to get discharged in bankruptcy. I'm not saying that's what it was, but it's the idea off the top of my head.
Attorney Carter, what were you saying?
Yeah, so what happened here was, by the way, this has been going on since 2010. He started having other financial problems that didn't have anything to do with 50, and he had tax problems. That's what always gets you, right? And so he filed for bankruptcy. First, he tried to do a reorganization under 13. Then he went down to, it's like craps. Then he went down to 11. Then he went 7, 6 the hard way. All right. Snake eyes. He's trying all these various things. He's at Chapter 7 now. The way Chapter 7 works is, let's take all of your assets and then let's pay out all the money to your creditors. Now, the reason he only has to pay 200 of the 250 is he doesn't have money to pay all the creditors. So every creditor had to take 80% of what they were owed. And basically, because he doesn't have all the assets. But the problem with that is, once the bankruptcy is over, he's going to be down to nothing. Now, he did put out an album, an EP. It's on iTunes now. And as somebody said in the comments here, it went wood. It went double wood though. All right, so it's 2-ply. But he's in trouble because
I was gonna say that, keep in mind, he's not just paying 50 Cent. He has to pay the IRS lien, and he has to pay child support. Yep. So they basically liquidated his assets, which they said was about $1 million. And out of that $1 million of whatever they were able to liquidate, the house or whatever he had, they're paying it out of that. So yeah, it's probably not 250 because probably whatever was left over wasn't 250. They had to just settle for 200.
Right. So the 200 is what, like 60%, 70%. So that, what is it, 80%? So then that's what they found. They found that based on they take all the assets, they take all the liabilities, and they apply them across the board. There are some that are going to get preferential treatment, like a tax lien, and some that, won't. And then what they do is, it looks like everybody is probably getting somewhere between 70 and 80 cents on the dollar from everything that he did. And again, it was that it kept getting knocked down from a 13, which is a reorganization, an 11, which, also gives for business reorganization. So that really didn't make sense. And then a 7, it's everything you've got. We're taking it away from you, except what you need to live as a bare minimum. And we're paying off your creditors. And then you get a fresh start.
All right, sounds good. Let's go to the audience poll. Let's go to the audience poll really quickly. Are record advances helping artists or setting them up to fail? All right, algoriters, the audience poll. Are record advances helping artists or setting them up to fail? You can vote A, helpful start, B, hidden trap, or C, depends who's writing the check. Let's ask it again. Algoriters, are record advances helping artists or setting them up to fail? A, it's a helpful start. B, it's a hidden trap. Or C, it depends on who's writing the check. All right, as we roll into the last and final court on the docket, the final case on the docket today, it's the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya Moore. All right, going with the win, Fabulous, or going with the rent overdue? Kenya Moore Hair Spa is facing eviction in Georgia for $30,000 in unpaid rent. She's being cryptic on social, but her landlord isn't. The suit is moving fast. Now, the lesson here is in Georgia, if you want to dispute an eviction, you must pay the back rent into escrow, whether or not you're guilty. Bailiff, let's take a look to what she's saying.
I had a dispute with the landlord. The landlord has not given me back my TIA, that's tenant improvement allowance. I was allotted $79,000 some $100 to improve this place.
You built a whole floor.
I built an entire second floor. I have not gotten a penny back from that. So if I'm not paying rent and they're not paying me TIA, we're at an impasse. So something has got to give. So whether that means I'm going to be in here next year, next month, next week, we'll see. So keep trying, because I'm just going to climb regardless if I'm here or not. Thank you.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. Can we please tell Ms. Moore that that's not how this works, especially in commercial leases?
Yeah. So, and it's not only Georgia, here in Florida too, right? So if you sign a lease and you're allowed tenant improvement or TIA, which is a tenant improvement allowance, you have to go ahead and pay your rent and you front that money. So if she spent $79,000, that's fine. She needs to show proof that that's what she paid. She needs affidavits from her contractor saying that there's no liens and everybody's been paid off. And the lease probably says how she gets back that TIA. And a lot of times what landlords will do is they will either take a small rent reduction over time. Let's say they'll reduce your rent by $5,000 a month until the amount is paid off, or they'll go ahead and you still have to pay your rent and you can reduce it a little bit, but it's very contractual based. And her saying, I'm not going to pay my rent because they owe me TIA money, that's not a defense. And she's going to have an obligation to put that money into the court registry. That way the court can determine what to do with that money. She just can't say, oh, I'm not going to pay until we're even. No, pay the money into the registry. The court holds it. The landlord doesn't get it until the landlord proves that the landlord is entitled to it. So she needs to speak to a landlord-tenant attorney in Georgia.
Got it. Attorney Sean Carter, let me ask you as it relates to a regular algorator, because this, I did when I was younger. I used to think that when I signed a lease to move into an apartment, and if something doesn't work and they don't fix it, I always thought, well, hey, maybe I can hold out on my rent. Next thing you know, you're going to get an eviction notice.
They notice.
No self-help. No self-help.
Can any of you lawyers talk to that point? And I think, what are the exceptions? Because I think it's important that algorithms know the exception. I think the exception is heat and air, right?
Nope, not air. Not even in Florida.
Heat.
Heat.
Heat. And what else? It's one other. What?
Nah, it
Water, probably, right?
Water.
no,
Water.
you're on your own for water. You pay your own water bill in most leases.
But if the plumbing doesn't work, you
Yeah.
can't get in there.
Well,
I think
and basically, it's anything that makes a place completely unlivable. All right. So if it fell down, all right, obviously you don't keep paying rent, all right, to go live in the rubble. If you know, and by the way, it depends on state by state. Now, with individual tenants like our algoriters, it's a lot better than Kenya's situation. Kenya is screwed because as a business person, you don't have any of those rights unless the contract says you have those rights of offset. So even outside of that, you know, business people basically they think you're on your own. You grown. All right, you make this deal with the landlord, and whatever, and the landlords at least will say, "You pay me my money on the first every." You know, it's like that song. It's John. You're a rapper, you know it. Who better have your money?
Bitch better have
There you go. There you go.
oh,
That's
so
what it says in
funny.
the contract, clause 17. Bitch better have my money on the first.
So there are no exceptions to holding back rent.
Not really.
Not really.
Unless the
gotta
place
put-
is
you gotta
completely
put-
uninhabitable.
Heat.
It has to be uninhabitable. And let's keep it real. Let's just state the elephant in the room.
Okay.
She, as of now, is not coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. So they're getting ready to start filming next month. She said, as of now, they have not asked her to join back. Kenya is holding on to every dime. She is holding on to every dime. And I think
Can we
that's
see Ashley on the main stage, please?
I think
There we go.
I think that's what's being unsaid here. She, as of now, does not have a renewed contract as a main person on Real Housewives, so she's not a peach holder. She's not even a friend of the show. Not that I would think she would accept that because that's like a downgrade. But yeah, I think that's what's being unsaid here. She doesn't really have the money. This salon, right? I think we talked about this a couple of months ago when it first happened. Was used for a revenge porn poster of someone giving oral sex. And then we finally learned later that it wasn't even of her castmate. Now, did Kenya know that wasn't really the girl? I don't know. But the point is, you kind of even ruin the reputation of your salon because you use your salon opening
Unbelievable.
to show a revenge porn poster at some level. And let me correct this. Technically, under the law, it wasn't revenge porn because she didn't transmit it electronically. So I'm just using revenge porn, just generally speaking, because she has not been sued for that. She has not been criminally liable for that. And I think it's because it was not transmitted electronically. But the point I'm making here is you used your salon to essentially embarrass someone who may or may have not been on the poster giving oral sex. And then you get kicked off the show. And then the show is supposed to essentially be like a 24-hour advertisement, right? For the salon and your product. So you now no longer have like one of the biggest platforms or biggest search engines in the world pushing people towards the salon. And so, yes, I think she's technically using this tenant improvement thing as the reason why she's like, no, I'm just not going to do it. But I think the bigger elephant in the room is that she's trying to
is that you don't have the money. So if she's gonna be stuck with this claim though, anyway, I think the smart thing for her to do is to get out from under this judgment, which would be to, you know, either rent chairs like most salons do, so you can get your money up so that you can pay the rent chairs, discount those expensive products she's selling.
Yeah, I think someone said in the chat that
some other products. Throw some of her dresses and stuff in there. Huh?
I think someone put in the chat that she should probably lower the cost of some of those models. She would make some more money. But I think I also like the idea of being a like maybe subleasing the chairs. I don't know if she's allowed to do that as a because she doesn't own the money. I mean, own the building. But yeah, that a lot of salons will just now. The other thing I wanted to say, just briefly, going back to 50 Cent, the bigger lesson for 50 Cent is do not owe him any money. Just that's like the only person that I would never want to owe. I would
never borrow money from 50 Cent.
Borrow money.
Still going
Don't
after
do business. Don't do
Pierre
business.
Marie. So just don't.
And let's go to Attorney Turner.
He'll come after you for 50 cents.
Attorney Turner, why? Because bitch better what?
Have my money, right? and Attorney Carter's right. Kenya's got a huge cash flow problem. So the show isn't bringing her back. So that's dried up. There were reports that the salon was empty leading up to this eviction issue. So she wasn't like operating as a salon and spa. It was just sitting there. She doesn't do hair personally, I don't think. And, you know, with the nails would be hard. But if she had booth rental, then that would give her a source of consistent income, to your point, where she could have paid the rent. But the biggest lesson for the algorators is do not apply your own logic to your legal situation. Get real advice. And so in her head, it clearly made lots of sense. I don't have to pay this because, you know, they owe me and I owe them and it's a wash. But that's not true.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's go to the algorators. Algorators, the audience poll. Should reality stars be held to higher business standards? Vote yes, their brands should be held to a higher standard. Vote no, because they're human. Or vote C, only when they flex for the gram. Should reality stars be held to higher business standards? A, yes, they're a brand and they should be held to a standard. No. B, no, they're human. Or C, only when they flex for the gram. All right, everybody, this is the time of the show where we start to give our verdicts for each case that we've covered this afternoon or tonight. First up, let's go back to Michael Ward. So, Michael, you played a gangster on screen, but if these charges hold up, life just cast you in your most dangerous role yet. Even though it's innocent until proven guilty, but silence doesn't mean safety. Clear his name or wear the shame. I'm going to say, in the court of public opinion, I am going to find him not guilty until proven guilty. Attorney Carter, what say you, Sean Carter?
He's innocent until proven guilty. If he is proven guilty, they don't play there. Their maximum sentence for this crime is life.
Ooh, Attorney Weiss?
Attorney Carter said it spot on. I got nothing to add.
Attorney Ashley Carter. Ashley Carter, you're on mute.
I need to see more because there's a lot of evidence that there was at least somewhat of a consensual relationship up to this point.
All right, Attorney Turner.
He's guilty of not insisting on enthusiastic consent.
Oh, God.
Attorney
Do we
Ross.
know that? Do we even know that?
Attorney Ross.
What? Diddy showed me I can't fly nobody out. And now Shatan's telling me she got to wave pom-poms. Remember the day the Dallas Cowgirl? She showed what do you want me to do?
No, it's like those air traffic. It's like air traffic controllers.
Right, you want air traffic control?
Come on in,
Here, it's yours.
We gonna get one of them bells that when the garbage truck back up.
Even that won't help you, though. Even that won't help you. You're gonna have to get a waiver signed in triplicate and notarized. Bring the notary with you to the motel.
Up, man. You keep the
All
pink
right,
cop back in the yellow
Algorators,
cop.
you vote next. Algorators, what's your verdict? Is he guilty or not guilty? Or is he not guilty and proven guilty? Drop down in the chat. Next up, we have Marcus Morris Sr., the multi-millionaire NBA player. Jeez. Marcus, casinos always bet on the house, but you bet your rep on a check and you couldn't cash it. This ain't monopoly money, and neither is your credibility now. I'm going to find him guilty for being greedy. Guilty for being greedy. Attorney Weiss, what say you?
He is guilty thinking that he could outsmart the casinos. It's a law. He's guilty of just being a dingbat, and hopefully his 4 days in jail, helped him straighten out. And I'm sure Attorney Ross could have gotten you out sooner. So next time, go with
Attorney
him.
Carter, guilty or not guilty?
He is. He's guilty, but I'm gonna give him some time off because he and his brother beat up his daddy a few years ago, and that's always been a fantasy of mine.
Wow.
Attorney Ashley Carter.
I'm teasing.
What in the world is going on here?
His kids have the same fantasy, so it's all good.
Attorney Ashley Carter, is he guilty? Not guilty? You're on mute, beautiful.
He's guilty because he paid that money right away as soon as they denied that bill.
He had that money. Attorney Turner.
He's guilty of kicking it and then cutting out.
Attorney Ross.
He's guilty of being the only multimillionaire walking around with a checkbook. Come on, man. You walking around Vegas with a checkbook? It sounds pre-planned. Put that on the black card and give me money,
That's
man.
right. All right, next up, Young Buck versus 50 Cent. Is 50 Cent guilty or not guilty of forcing this man into bankruptcy because of this advance? I'm going to find 50 Cent guilty. Guilty is charged. He knows this man doesn't have any money. He knows that his records aren't selling. I think this is just once again 50 Cent shaming people for asking for money from him and not being able to pay it back. Attorney Sean Carter, what do you think?
100%. And by the way, he's lucky it wasn't in advance, because I looked into advances, and if you get an advance from a record company, you might as well just go move into an extended stay America. That's where you're going to end up. You might as well just move in there now.
Oh, wow. Attorney Weiss?
So I think 50 Cent is absolutely guilty for pushing the ball and being the straw that broke the camel's back. But he had tax liens, he had child support issues. So 50 Cent just pushed him over the edge, and that was it.
Ashley Carter, guilty, not guilty?
I agree with the comment. 50 Cent is guilty of being a troll.
Troll. Attorney Turner?
I know this isn't 50's song, but he's guilty of standing on business. He got his
Oh, wow. Attorney Ross, what you say you? Guilty, not guilty?
This is not good. This ain't no charity, okay? You took out the loan, you pay it back. I'm sorry you fell on hard time. When I'm 50 Cent, and I can't afford to let people know I'm just out here donating $200,000 to people who can't keep up with their checkbook, like Marcus Moore Sr. I'm not messing with you, man. And my money back, bro.
All right, next up, Kenya Moore. Kenya, hairlines matter, but so does bottom lines. You built a brand, but if you can't pay the lease, the glam squad's packing up and checking out. I find Kenya Moore guilty here in the court of public opinion. Attorney Carter, Sean Carter, what say you?
She guilty, but a real crime is trying to start an actual business. She don't know how to do hair. All right, put the picture back up. Put the picture back up. That's what you sell. That dress. I'm gonna buy that dress myself. You're gonna see me tomorrow on the next show on Thursday trying to wear that thing. I ain't gonna looking good in it, but that look good. I'm buying my wife 4 of those.
You crazy. That doesn't come with a slip, counselor. That doesn't come with a slip.
You can put a slip under that. You can put a slip under that. It'd be good.
Okay.
Attorney White,
the slip
guilty
is
or not guilty?
The slip is sewn in. I will make a donation if Attorney Carter wears that on the show next Thursday. That's all I'm gonna say.
Guilty or not guilty? Kenya Moore, guilty, not guilty?
Oh, she's guilty of not knowing her rights under Georgia law, and she's guilty of not hiring a lawyer.
Got it. Okay, Attorney Ashley Carter, is she guilty or not guilty?
I agree with Jason. Like, you can't put your personal logic towards the law. Like, just put it in the registry. Get a lawyer. She's guilty.
Attorney Turner?
She's guilty of relying on bad advice. I mean, Ashley talked about what she did with the salon opening. Like, I'm not sure who she's listening to, but whoever it is getting her into trouble.
Attorney Brian Ross, guilty, not guilty?
Yeah, guilty. You got to put the money in the court registry, algoritmos. I hear this argument in court all the time and it's shut down. Put the money in the court registry and fight your landlord out. There's some bad landlords out there for sure.
This is what I think. Guys, what do y'all think about this? I think Kenya knows the law. I think she has enough girlfriends. She has enough fans that are probably lawyers that probably helped her. I think she's saying this on her live, and so that the regular human being who's listening to it would be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And it clears her of any ill doing, like as far as it relates to her fans. I think she knows what she's doing. She knows that money was due. She's just using that excuse to get out of accountability. All right, everyone. Tonight, I mean, when I listen to it, she sounds crazy, but I guess for the common person, it makes sense to them. All right, tonight wasn't just about guilt or innocent. It was about ownership. Ownership of your actions, ownership of your contracts, ownership of your money, as well as ownership of your reputation. In the court of public opinion, you don't just win by evidence. You win by accountability. And remember, fame fades fast, but lawsuits, they age like subpoenas, ugly and unforgettable. All right, everybody, don't forget to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. And always, thank you for watching tonight's show. And court is now adjourned.